Tables 2 through 5 provide descriptive statistics on the data for the specified analyses. These tables are intended to help users assess the quality of their data. Table 2 provides sample sizes and summary statistics for the full sample analysis. The table shows the number in the sample, the number with available data, the number with missing data, the percentage with available data, and means and standard deviations. The statistics are provided for each outcome variable separately for the treatment and control groups and for individuals and clusters. For our example, we see that math score is available for 971 treatment group members in 18 schools, and that all 18 treatment schools contributed to the analysis. Table 3 displays percentiles of the distributions of study outcomes for the full sample analysis, separately for the treatment and control groups. These statistics are provided to help users identify potential outliers in the data, that is, unusually large or small data values. The 5th percentile of the distribution of a variable, for example, is a number such that 5% of the sample has a value less than or equal to that number, and similarly for other percentiles. So for example, we see that the 50th percentile for math score for treatment group students with non-missing data is 60.72, suggesting that half the treatment students had scores lower than 60.72 and half had scores higher than 60.72. Table 4C shows block and cluster sample sizes for the full sample analysis, as well as weights that RCTS assign to each block and cluster when obtaining pooled impact estimates. You can see Chapter 2 of the User's Manual for a discussion of weighting. As you see, some districts, such as Districts 4 and 5, were excluded from the analysis because of small sample sizes. Specifically, by default, RCTS excludes blocks if there are fewer than 2 treatment clusters or fewer than 2 control clusters in the block. As discussed in Chapter 2 of the User's Manual, there are program options that can be specified that require only 1 treatment and 1 control cluster per block, in which case all blocks in our example would have been included in the analysis. Table 5 displays sample sizes for baseline subgroups for each outcome variable. Importantly, to protect personally identifiable information, an entire subgroup is excluded from the analysis if any subgroup category is too small for either the treatment or control group. You can see Chapter 2 of the User's Manual to learn about minimum sample size requirements. In these cases, you should aggregate the small subgroup categories into larger ones. In our example, all subgroups were included in the analysis.